My name is Kimberly Haas.
My name is Steve Prather.
My name is Toby Carmichael.
My name's Robert Lipham.
I am running for Ackworth Post 2 for City Council. I love the city of Ackworth, and what made me want to run was one, I saw a need um, for us to have an election. So in 2021, I threw my hat in to run for Ackworth City Council because we had not been having consecutive elections. And I felt like we, the citizens, should have a representation of a different voice, a different age, a different gender to come out and represent the city of Ackworth in 2023. I love to serve. I try to help people. Sometimes it can be a good thing, sometimes it can be a bad thing, because if people don't want your help, then you're not really helping, right? But naturally, I'm a helper. I want to help. I want to serve. That is what I do. So I felt that if I saw that I believe that Ackworth would be its best to explore and have a representation where it does not have at this point in time, why not serve in that space, in that place? And so that's why I chose to run for Ackworth City Council with the support of people who felt that I would be a great representation for Ackworth.
I'm running for post 2 alderman in Ackworth, and I'm sure you've seen the signs all over if you've been around town. So a little bit about me. I am a 6th generation from the Ackworth, Kennesaw, Cobb area. My great grandfather settled here. If you know George Stephen Baker Elementary School, that's who I'm named after. That's where the Steve comes from. That's my great grandfather. His father also donated the land and the money for the church to be built, which is now Hickory Grove Baptist Church. So on the Baker side of the family, I'm 6 generations, and on the Prather side, I'm 5 generations actually on that. So went to North Cobb High School, went to Kennesaw State University, so didn't get too far away. I did spend a little bit of time. Yeah, hooty hoo.
Sorry.
I did spend a little bit of time away in California just to kind of see a little bit of the world and did some travel at that time, but then came back. So my 62 years, 60 of them have been spent here. And I am currently co-chair of the Ackworth Lake Authority. I've been on the Lake Authority for, since its re-inception by Marcia Andruzzi, and also on the Special Needs Development Group. So have been a long time public servant, if you will, from a volunteer perspective within the city. Also past president of the Kennesaw State University Alumni Association. So even outside the Ackworth community has been involved there. And I currently live, obviously, in the city of Ackworth with my wife Lori and my 3 grown, hard to say, but yeah, they are grown children. And I also have from a small business perspective, I own some of the historic commercial buildings in downtown, a couple of those, one that houses Miss L's and the other that houses the fountain. So I have a vested interest in downtown, not from lineage in the family, but also from a commercial and business and home perspective. And lastly, from a giving and working inside the city, the first sheriff of Ackworth was Marion Prather, a descendant. So
I moved to Ackworth in 1994 after attending vet school at the University of Georgia. I'm originally from Tifton, which is at the time a small town in South Georgia. It was small enough that we knew everybody. When you went to the grocery store, everybody seemed to know your name. So I understand that small town feel. When I was there, I was in the marching band. I was in Boy Scouts. I actually made it all the way through and became an Eagle Scout, but was active in 4-H. 4-H actually helped me to raise enough money to pay my way through school so that I was able to graduate college without any debt. while I was working my way through college. So all of those things helped me to understand what it means to be in a small town and to love the area that you grow up in. So whenever I graduated vet school, I went to Connecticut for a year, and then I came back to the Atlanta area. And at the time, veterinarians were only going to work places 2 years, and then they would move to their next clinic because they kind of found their first job. It wouldn't necessarily be their perfect job, so then they would move on. Me, I love the town, I love the clinic, I love my clients, and so I'm still here since 1994. So I've enjoyed being the small town vet. I've enjoyed being that hometown feel where I get to know all the clients. I can remember when kids come in with their parents and what the shoes they were wearing, and then now seeing them all grown up and bringing their own animals, even sometimes with their own kids coming to the clinic. So it's been a great adventure, and I've enjoyed every bit of it. So learning from growing up in the small town and being active in groups like 4-H, it was all part of the leadership and being part of your community. And so I started early on trying to volunteer and do things within the community, because if you're not involved in the community moves on and doesn't really know who you are. So I spent a lot of time trying to do different things with the community and volunteering for different committees. Ended up working with planning and zoning and been doing that for almost 20 years. So with that being said, I love the community so much. I bought my first house that's in downtown Acworth, or at least the city limits proper, in '99. Instead of trying to move, which we had looked at doing several times, I could never leave my favorite little area, and so we've added on to our house, but never actually left. We've decided that we'd raise our children here. I have 2 kids, one who's 20, one who's 22, and they both live in the Acworth area. So one is a nursing student. She's grown up through the Cobb County school programs. The other one's at she's not a nursing student. I apologize. She's actually a nurse, and she passed her nursing boards. She'll be working at Grady in the ER department come November. Then my son is going to KSU, and they are both decided they would live at home because it was cheaper. And when I say at home, downtown Acworth, to be able to at least say that they could save some money and be able to afford to go to college. So after working with those kids while they were going through the school program, I realized we needed more parental involvement, and not necessarily the male and female, but really more of a male role, that we really were lacking that in our school systems. So when they were in elementary school and middle school, we worked with a program called Watchdogs, and that was called Dads of Great Students. And that program helped us to involve not only dads, but uncles and grandparents. And it was so heartwarming whenever we'd have the neighbors come in and support a family that the father may be away, and that they would help volunteer. But the dad would get to spend the day with students and then actually have lunch and whatnot with the kids. So with that program, and working even with PTA as a treasurer for several years, I realized that that's how we help our kids, is that we get more parents involved. I still think that's important with our community. We need more community involvement. We need people to become involved in our organizations. We need people to come involved in our committees associated with the city. We need community involvement. And so all of those things have helped to drive me and to keep me trying to stay involved in our community. So as we look at the different things and the different options, running for city council was another option for me to where I could actually help and serve the community. I've been doing planning and zoning. I've served on different committees. And so this was another way that I can serve my favorite hometown. And I hope that in the future I'll be able to continue to keep the growth that we've had, the growth that we see, the quality of life that we have in the city, the ability for us to be able to feel safe, the things that we all take for granted, that I hope we can continue that and continue to see that grow. My kids want to live here. I want to retire here. I'm not planning on moving anywhere. I'm not one of the ones that's going to retire and move to Florida or anywhere. I'm retiring here because this is my home.
I decided to run for city council because I had served in the military for 20 years. I did a tour in Iraq, tour in Afghanistan, and I just always had this sense of service. I was born in Atlanta. I grew up in New Orleans until I was about 9, and then my father moved me and my 2 sisters back to Georgia. At the age 13, they wound up in one foster care home, and then I wound up in a different one. So, and then after I graduated high school, like I said, I joined the military and I served with passion, desire to do things for other people. So when the opportunity came for me to run for city council, I took it so that I can represent the people that need the representation. I have a lot of older adults that live in my neighborhood, and they've shared their concerns about the traffic, the speeding down our narrow road. So I decided to represent them. So that's why I chose to run.